Hey everybody, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. I am your hostess with the absolute mostest, the Doll. So how has everybody been doing this month? We are into, what week is it? This is like going into the third week of the first month in 2023. How are you doing? How are you hanging in there? Do you need some motivation? You need some support? You need some love? Hey, guess what? That's what the Doll Fam's all about. Remember, most importantly, before we even get into the show, know that this is a safe space. This is an open table. We share snacks here. We share our feelings. We talk openly without being judged or feel like somebody's going to say something shitty to us. You know, this is the Doll Fam. It's all nothing but love. Nothing but love. So, if you're having a hard time, remember, my DMs are always open for pretty much anything. Except for, you know, inappropriate things. Unless it's an inappropriate joke. I can get down with an inappropriate joke. So, this week is Monday Coffee, and we're going to be focusing on what I mean when I say making peace within yourself so you can walk in love with others. I recently had a DM on my private page, like on my personal page that I post everything about, like my family and my life, and with people that have followed me for a long time. And occasionally I get messages over there that I don't see for a little while, because when you DM somebody that you're not friends with on Facebook, you know how it puts it in the other folder. So I noticed that I had a message request, and I went and looked at it, and it was a message from a beautiful woman who was interested in pinup, and she was reaching out to me for some help, for some guidance. This isn't anything new to me. This isn't a shock. My inbox has, since the beginning of my online days, been full of messages from women who are interested in the pinup scene, whether it be like because they're interested in the style and the fashion aspect of it, because it just connects with them better than like mainstream modern stuff, or because they want to be pinup models and they're looking for modeling advice in the specific industry and genre of vintage pinup, because it is really, really different from anything mainstream modeling related. So she sent me a message and she was like, hey, you know, I'm getting into pinup, and I really into pinup modeling specifically, and I really am looking for some guidance and some help, because, you know, realistically, it's extremely overwhelming, and it's so different from what it used to be when I first got into it. I can only imagine how overwhelming it is now, especially with how saturated the scene is with so many different people involved in it than was before. So there's like all these new pressures and elements. And so she was just reaching out for some help and some guidance. And so I immediately did what I do, and I shared knowledge. Because why? Because sharing is caring and knowledge is power. And if I can share the knowledge that I have with you, we can be more powerful together. That's my shtick, and I'm sticking to it. So I gave this woman who came to me seeking some guidance, I gave her, you know, a really gist like of what she needs to focus on. And the first thing that I asked her was, what are you interested in? Are you interested in, you know, just pinup as a personal passion and kind of like a hobby, or are you trying to get into pinup modeling as kind of like more of a serious focus? Because they're two very different worlds. They're two very different worlds, and you got to focus on different things depending on which world and dimension you're going into. You like that? You like that? Did you hear my cat? She was like, I approve. Anyhoozle, I started to give this young woman some advice, and she, you know, explained to me what she was interested in. So I gave her just kind of like a summary of places that she needs to focus. If you're going to do this, you need to focus here. If this is what you want to do, you need to focus here. You know, and I gave her as much professional information as I could as a former pinup model myself. But then at the very end, I made sure to let her know, you know, the biggest thing that you need to remember is that at this point in the game, now that pinup has become its own subculture, just like it stemmed from the rockabilly subculture, you know, pinup was just always kind of a part of that. And now it's become so popular, and it's become such a big thing. And I think, you know, social media has been a huge help in that area, with the way that everybody can create their own pages now, and everybody can like be their own pinup model, whether they're like super serious about it or not. You gotta kind of decide. And I told her one of the most important things that you need to make sure that you stay away from is the false positivity and the toxic sisterhood that is absolutely running rampant in the pinup scene. And I get in a lot of trouble for saying that. I get in a lot of trouble for calling out the reality of what it is, because so many people like to play house, I guess, in this scene. And that's one of the things that, was a final deciding factor for me when I left, was when I realized that being a pinup model wasn't really my goal anymore, and that my focuses were in other places. Because to be a professional model, regardless of what genre you're in, it takes a lot of traveling and not being home. And I like to be home. When I first got into pinup modeling, it was one thing. And then as I became more serious in my pinup modeling career, it really took over the majority of my time. But I had a bunch of free time of just a solo woman, because at that point in my life, I was a solo woman. It was me and my kids. I was going through my divorce. I was going through a horrific custody battle. And there was a lot of time that I did not have my kids. And my kids have always been my number one focus. So because I didn't have my kids, I was trying to fill that empty time that I had. And I did it with my career and my passion and what I was focused on at the time, and that was to be a professional pinup model. And it really catered to what I was doing at the time, because, when you have kids, they dominate pretty much all your time and focus. And that's not a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing if you don't have that specific of a focus on your kids. Everybody balances their lives differently, and I'm not here to say, well, you have to do it this way or that way. You have to give up everything you want for your kids. That's not what I'm saying at all. For me personally, let's just make it clear, because in this type of conversation, people like to grab onto certain things that I say and take them totally in a direction that I didn't mean them in. For me personally, I had a lot of free time without my kids, and I hated it. Stop eating my hair. Just stop eating my hair. Just don't do it, and then you won't choke on it. I hated being away from my kids, and being away from my kids was extremely depressing for me. So I made sure to never have free time, and I put all of my time into my work. So I was either at my job, like my actual 9-to-5 job, or I was going to shoots, I was meeting up with photographers, I was networking, I was doing shoots for brands that I was collaborating with. There was always something going on that I was focused on. And so when my focus changed, because my life changed and I evolved just like life evolves, I got to the point where I realized, I loved this when I was doing it, and when it was my focus and it's what I wanted, I was really just like beelined on it, and it's what I did, and there was nothing else. But now, as from going from a 21-year-old when I really started professionally modeling to now, in my 30s, in a different place, my life has changed so drastically. I've gone through so many different things. I don't want to do this anymore. I've been there, done that. I had a great time when I did it. Not to toot my own horn, but I was really good at it, because it's something that I've always been passionate about since I was little. I've always studied and been fascinated with modeling, beauty, styling, photography. So I was all encompassing in all of the factors that make you good at this specific thing. I was really, really interested in, and I took a lot of time learning and a lot of time researching and a lot of time investing, because if you're going to be good at something, you need to know how to be good at it. And so that's why I was good at it, because I was passionate about it. It's important to me. So now I have all this collected knowledge, right? But I don't like the energy in the industry, in the scene, and that was literally sucking the life out of me personally. I didn't like it. That's not what I was in it for. And it had changed so drastically from the very beginning to where it was at that point when I kind of decided to step away, that just was what the best choice for me was. And it's crazy because even though I had started removing myself from it and becoming less and less and less involved with, the magazines, the pages, the photographers, the brands, the other models, the other this, the other that, it still sought me out. I realized that I had become the inbox for those who were just starting and were seeking guidance and support and help and knowledge in how to get started, or in what direction to go, or how do I handle this situation. So I kind of became almost like a pinup therapist. There was a girl who used to call me her pinup fairy godmother, because if somebody needed help with something, they could come and ask me, right? And I was never hesitant to share the knowledge that I had. I was never like, oh, I'm not going to tell you because you might get like an offer that I would have wanted at the time, but even though I'm not doing it anymore, I still don't want you to have it because you can't have something that I should have gotten if I was still in. Like, there was never any energy of, I can't share what I know because God forbid you might get better at it than me, or you might surpass what I did, or like those thoughts never crossed my mind. And the more messages I got in my inbox, it felt like, was I the only one that felt this way from what I was being told about all of the other pinups that these new pinups had tried to reach out to, and just really got just the most salt and vinegar responses? I left the scene and the industry for both personal reasons and just like mental health reasons, I guess, right? So I left the scene, I left the industry because it's not what I wanted for myself anymore. And when you're picking a career and you're picking your interests and you're picking your passions and your hobbies, like, they're supposed to be the things that make you happy and that feed your soul. And so when I started realizing that the more of a subculture that pinup itself was becoming, and the more women that were getting involved in it, the more toxic personalities that were being pulled into it too. And I'm not saying everybody, but there's a heavy, heavy, heavy majority that is just so ugly and toxic, and such a negative, false representation of pinup sisterhood, that I didn't want to spend every single day calling people out for being fake bitches. And I was very much getting to that point, and it was getting me in trouble. Like, I, at this point in the game, have the title of the vintage doll, the asshole pinup that calls it out and doesn't really care if somebody doesn't like her for it at this point. And so when this girl was in my inbox here recently asking for help, and then when I just gave her like a giant paragraph of X, Y, and Z, A, B, C, go here, here, and here, stay away from this, that, and the other, her response to me was disappointing, not because of her or anything she did, but I haven't been in the scene in over 3 years now. Like, realistically, I stepped away when I got pregnant with Lucy. Like, I really stepped away from focusing on it when I got pregnant with Lucy, because I knew it was a stressful environment. I knew it was a toxic environment. And I was like, well, I'm pregnant, right? And I have some slight high risk tendencies with pregnancy. I've struggled with a lot of high blood pressure when I was pregnant with Charlie. I've suffered a miscarriage. There's things that I didn't want pressure and stress on me while I was growing this tater tot inside me. So I was like, you know what? It's just time for a break anyways. It's time to reevaluate. This is a good time to do it. And, Lucy just turned 3 last September. So within the past 3 years of me not being in the scene, like, I would have hoped that it kind of would have balanced itself out. And I'm not saying that there's not good pinups. There's so many amazing, wonderful, beautiful pinups and groups and brands and photographers, 100%. But within that, all of those pinups and brands and photographers have spoken to me about how discouraging it is that they constantly are crossing paths with people who are fake, who are liars, who are manipulators, who are mean, who are cruel, who are bullying, who are talking shit behind people's back. You know, it's such this teeter-totter of good and bad, right? And everything is. That's just the way life is. But when this young woman said to me after I give her this information, thank you so much, because unfortunately, I just feel like every single pinup I've gone to asking them for advice have just not been willing to be open or encouraging or supportive or share at all. And I laughed and I said, you're going to find that a lot, unfortunately. But I'm not the type that if you ask me what color red lipstick I'm wearing, I'm going to ignore you or not tell you, because, I mean, God forbid we wear the same red lipstick shade, because it's like you're going to steal my soul if we do. Am I right? Like, it's a bullshit way to behave, and I don't understand it. I told her that one of the things that she needs to focus on is remembering that you just need to have a good time. You need to focus on yourself. Focus on where you're at and what you're doing. And if somebody has something shitty to say to you, it's not relevant to your journey. You know what I mean? There's going to be so many women that you cross paths with that are going to pretend to be your friend, and then all of a sudden are going to decide that you are too much of a challenge, or you're challenging their own confidence within themselves, or you got something that they felt they deserved and you didn't. Like, the sodium content in the pinup scene is so high. It's so high. And it really can drown out the sweet content and the sugar content when you're a new pinup. So don't allow that type of shit to overcloud any reason why you got into this, because the pinup scene itself, like what it's supposed to represent and what it embodies and what it can give to you as a woman, is so awesome. It's so awesome, because becoming the vintage doll was the first time I ever felt like I had a voice for me. And the more that I use that voice and I recognize that voice, the more I built myself up as a strong, confident, badass woman, right? So the pros can outweigh the cons, but the cons can be so heavy and drown out so easily the good when you first get into it that you're probably going to want to give up. Because the amount of messages that I have gotten from women who started in pinup and came to me and were like, I love this, this is amazing, this makes me feel so in touch with myself, and then within literally 6 months are in my inbox crying saying, I can't handle the bullying, I can't handle the hatefulness, I can't handle all of these women saying stuff about me that's not even true, that I didn't even do, and I don't understand. And I'm like, yeah, you don't, I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I've literally had so many posts made about me just talking shit for no reason, because I worked with a certain photographer that maybe somebody didn't like, or a photographer once made a GoFundMe for me without my permission. She made a GoFundMe for me, and it was to try and help me get a car when I was going through a really awful divorce. And I was starting from absolutely nothing, and I couldn't get to my photo shoots, and I couldn't get to my job. And she was like, well, I'm just going to try to help. And an entire group of pinups, it pissed them off so much that somebody was trying to go out of their way to help me, that from that day forward, they have done nothing but create a false narrative about who I am and trying to destroy my credibility and my character, because they are literally just salty. They're just salty. There are some people in the world that are just going to be hateful, and they're going to lie, and they're going to be conniving and vindictive and try to do everything to destroy any positive things that you're going after. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. But at this point in the game, I feel like I kind of have it figured out. And the problem is that people like that have not taken the time to learn how to make peace within themselves so they can walk in love with others better, because they are way too busy spitting out all that negative toxicity, trying to take people down. And that's where their focus is. Their focus is gimme, 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 I deserve, me, me, me. And if you come into their radius and challenge any of that stuff that makes them question themselves, that makes them think that you're better than them, you don't even have to do anything. You can love them and be supportive, and literally as soon as you turn around after they say thank you to your face, they're going to stab you in the back. Ask me how I know. It's a surprise that I haven't bled out many a times helping mentor and cater to people's own success just to turn around and to have them stab me in the back. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to tell you why that's okay. It's okay because ultimately you get to decide if you're going to let that affect you. And it's as easy as that. It's as simple as that. I have had so many women come for me and lie about me and try and smear me because I just rub them the wrong way. They don't like how I use my voice. They don't like that I don't care when people don't like me. There is no reason for the behaviors that have been put on me to have been put on me. And I can say that with confidence. I have absolutely no problem with saying I have no ill will towards anybody. I have literally never, ever once gone out of my way to try and hurt somebody, throw somebody under the bus. I've never been cutthroat, conniving. I've never lied, smeared, shamed. But there are certain people that if you ask will 100% say that I have. And what's even more ironic about that is that I've had girls in my inbox coming to me seeking my guidance after they sought those people's guidance who literally told them they're not allowed to talk to me. You can't be a part of our pinup group if you talk to her, if you support her, if you do anything in regards to the vintage doll, you cannot be a part of us. And they're like, okay, I won't. Sure. Right? And they go ahead. And then all of a sudden, those types of people start showing their true colors. And people with good hearts who don't want to hurt others, who want to walk in love because they're actively working on making peace within themselves, eventually realize the truth and they see it. And it starts making them itchy. And they're like, ew, I don't want to be a part of this. Ew, you're exactly the opposite of what you told me you were. Oh my gosh. And then here they are in my inbox. Hey, you don't know me. You don't know me, but these people told me really shitty things about you and I didn't really know and I didn't want to take the time to ask you because I thought they were my friends and they were giving me guidance. And then it turns out you are opposite of what they said and they are what they tried to paint you as. And I'm just here to say I'm sorry and I actually like you and I actually wouldn't mind like maybe being friends. And I'm like, hi. I'm Emily Doll. This is Doll Fam. You can always sit here because there's room for everyone unless you're a salty bee. And then you have to own up to being a salty bee and say, hey, I was a salty bee. I'm sorry. And then you can still sit here because that's what this is about. Because once you learn how to make peace within yourself, you can walk in love with others no matter how they've treated you because you realize that people can't hurt you in those ways unless you allow them to. Because it's a false narrative to begin with. It's not true to begin with. So to harbor it as your truth and allow it to weigh you down is a delusional place to live to begin with. You don't have to live there. You have to choose to live there. And so when this girl came to me and said that she has reached out to other girls and was still treated the same way that I left the whole scene because it was so oversaturated with those types of personalities, I was so disappointed in the pinup scene. Again. So I told her, I said, look, one of the things that you're going to realize is that if there's a pinup group, that means there's a leader. That means somebody has the title of boss bitch. That means people are going to fight over that title. Stay away from pinup groups. Stay away from them. Stay away from them because You shouldn't be competing for a title that doesn't fucking matter to begin with. You're a leader of a what? You're a leader of a group? Well, what if I tell you that group you're the leader of has a bunch of girls that do nothing but bully and bash and make other girls want to kill themselves, because that's how serious it gets in this scene. I've literally had women in my inbox talking about how the bullying from the pinup scene has made them consider killing themselves, because some of these chicks go hard. They go hard. They will go out of their way to completely try to annihilate your existence and then post on their Facebook page, I'm against bullying, I hate bullying, girl power, girl sisterhood. And it's like, that's a complex, and you need to seek professional help for that type of behavior. Because if you can go out of your way to literally get off a pinup stage after you talk about how you're all about sisterhood and anti-bullying, and then I hear you actively talking shit about another girl and how you think she looks like shit in her dress and how she's too fat to be here, ooh, honey, that's when the vintage doll gonna come at you. Yeah. And it got me in a lot of trouble. It's always gotten me in a lot of trouble. Speaking the truth gets you in trouble. So you have to have really thick skin. I'm skinny as a rail, but my skin is thick as fuck. And that's just the truth. You know, it's really funny because anytime I talk about this and use it as a teaching tool for new people, all of a sudden people from my past will come out of the woodworks and be like, oh, Emily, she's so dramatic. She's so dramatic, always talking about this. Like, she thinks she's such a victim. And it's funny. It's funny because that's always the people who, like, make excuses for the people who are the biggest bullies. Every time. The amount of people who have told me I need to shut my mouth about their friends who are active bullies because don't talk about it. They're not mean to me. They're not mean to me. They're not mean to me. So you need to shut up about them being mean to other people. And I'm like, no, because in the doll fam, we don't play that game. When you have an entire inbox full of women coming to you saying, I just wanted to do something that I loved and have a good time and embrace something that I thought was packaged and prepared and put in front of me like it was this beautiful thing about, you know, learning about how to love yourself and having other women who can relate to maybe not having the confidence in yourself, and then learning that you really are that beautiful and you really are worth it and you really can do it. Because one of the most beautiful things that I have ever seen in my life is when women come to me and say, I'm scared, I'm about to do my first pinup photo shoot and I'm so scared and I can't do it. What do I do? And I tell them, calm down. I'm scared every single time I do a photo shoot too. But you know what? You're not going to be scared the whole time, because you're going to go and you're going to have a good time and you're going to have fun and you're going to embrace how much of a badass you are. And you're going to be nervous at first and you're going to be stiff on set. But here's some tips to stay focused on to get you through that part, because once that wears off, you're gonna see that yes, you motherfucking can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And then you know what? They go and they do it, and then they're back in my inbox going, oh my God, you were right. Look at these pictures. I'm a badass. I'm beautiful. Why did I think that about myself? And I'm gonna be like, because people were lying to you and you were listening to them instead of making peace within yourself. Because yes, you fucking can. I think that my entire point here is that there are so many people in the world, not just in pinup, not just in any specific genre or workplace or anything. There are millions of people in this world who have not learned to make peace within themselves. So they are not capable of walking in love with others. They're not capable. Because to love others when you can't even love yourself is a huge challenge. That's a huge challenge. That's ginormous. That's not how it works, right? If I'm not confident in myself, if I don't have peace within myself, if I don't trust myself, if I don't see that yes, I can and yes, I am, How could I embrace anybody else is doing that? Because literally anybody who has even the smidgiest amount of peace within themselves is going to seem like a challenge to those people. And they lash out. They lash out. And I cannot tell you how many times I have also been apologized to by a lot of women who have made it their mission to try and destroy the vintage doll. And then later been in my inbox going, man, I don't know why I did that to you. I don't know why I did that to you. I got caught up in this group of girls, and then just everybody was just kind of fueling that negative, toxic fire. And when you have the that bitch mentality, usually people that have the that bitch mentality only surround themselves with people who support their bad behavior and share their bad behavior. So when you're getting validation from people who are telling you, this is great, do it, fuck her over, yeah, you're going to think that you're doing the right thing. But those people also deserve forgiveness. They forget, and I'll be the first one to say it. If you come to me and say, hey, I'm sorry I was an asshole, I'm going to be like, I forgive you for being an asshole, and we're going to try again. Because, again, when you make peace within yourself and you realize that that type of stuff can only affect your life if you allow those people's persona of you, an idea of you, and creation of your reality matter more than your truth, your reality, you're going to drown every single time. Every single time. And I'll be the first one to tell you that the noise is loud from people like that. And it can be suffocating. And it can be full of anxiety and depression. And you just panic all the time. There's literally videos on YouTube talking shit about me. I had one of them reach out to my ex to try and mess up my next court hearing. There's some people that will go to no end to try and hurt you because they are so just no peace. No peace. So they create this false sense of peace with all this bravado. And I'm a badass. You're not going to fuck with me. And I'm going to show you. And I'm going to cut your throat. And it's like, whoa. I don't want to compete with you anyways. There's enough room on the game board for all of us. Okay? There's enough room. I'm not competing with you. I don't even like games. I hate them. So to waste your time allowing somebody else's unrest within themselves to create your path and to pave the road that you're on versus paving it with your own truth is just going to create unrest inside your own soul. So don't do it. Stay away from it. If those people can't vibe with you, it's okay to just not even try. So stay away from it. And that was the advice that I gave this young woman who was in my inbox. Stay away from that. Don't humor it. Don't be a part of it. You leave it. There is so much good that you can focus on. There is so much good you can focus on for not only yourself, but other women out there who will embrace you and love you. My deepest connections with women have come through my pinup journey and my modeling journey. And they are the women who I've worked with, who I've collaborated with, who I have gone to shows with, who I have then talked about personal life, real life shit outside of pinup and modeling. There are absolutely amazing, beautiful human beings that you can vibe with all day long. So please do not spend any of 2023 allowing any of that type of energy to slow you down and to take over, because it's not worth your time and it's not worth their time. Because when you feed into those types of mentalities, you're also helping them just destroy their lives more. Because if they feel like they're getting to you, and if they feel like they're upsetting you, and they feel like they're dominating your self-worth, because that's where they get validation, it just makes them continue down that path. But if people say, and just get out your squirt bottle, your negativity squirt bottle, and go, no, this is not how we behave to other people. Knock it off. If you can't knock it off, you go sit over there. You go sit over there in your own space, in your own negativity, toxic bubble. And when you're ready to stop that shit, I'll be here. But you are not going to put it in my space. No, no, no. I have worked far too hard to make peace within myself so I can actively walk in love with other people, so we can then be more powerful walking down our own paths. And you are not going to bring those negativity fucking brick walls in here. I just won't even, I'm going to come in like a wrecking ball and knock it down every single time. Right. Well, all right. That's sure to cross somebody's path to piss them off. But you know what? Good. Because if you act that way, and you're mad at what I'm saying, you really need to self-reflect. Check your peace. Because that's one thing that my Jesus-loving mama taught me that is 100% factual. She always said to me, Emily, check your peace. Because God said, and I don't remember what she said that God said. I'm sure it was important. I don't remember it. Sorry. She said, check your peace, because if you do not have peace inside, if you are uncomfortable, if you are on edge, if you are distraught, if you have anxiety, depression, if you have unrest about something, it's not good for you. Something needs to change. Something needs to be adjusted. Something needs to be fixed. And she's right. I cannot tell you what a mental switch it is to finally realize that it really is about making peace within yourself, and other people's opinions and ideas do not matter. They don't matter. And I went through this small phase where I was really crass and just super blunt and kind of vulgar, and I was just like, no fucks given. No. Have you seen the pockets in women's jeans? They're like this big. You want to know? They're like this big. I ain't got no room for fucks. Ain't got no room for them. I ain't got no room for those. My purse, I got a tiny purse. Ain't got no pockets. Ain't got no room for fucks. And honestly, although it was kind of a difficult transition that pissed a lot of people off, it allowed me to see the truth and reality of not only me, but my relationships with other people. How important boundaries are, how important the energies and the people that you do have in your space are, what you allow, what you harbor, what you invest in. It matters. So if you're feeling bogged down by other people constantly, you really need to start checking those relationships. Are you investing fucks into something that is toxic for you? Where is your peace at? You got to make peace within yourself, so then someday, you're going to be like me. And it's not going to matter what people said about you or say about you, or if they like you or they don't like you, because you have such peace within yourself that walking in love with others really is the only way to go. And you want to know why? You want to know why that's so important? To walk in love with somebody and just be like, oh, okay, well, you go do you. I don't hate you for it. I ain't got no animosity. I have no negative feelings. I don't wish ill on you at all. But I am not going to be here and allow you to disrupt my peace. So please go learn to make peace within yourselves. So when you're interacting with others, it's in love. And if it's not, that road, there's one right, that road over there. Go down it. Because I'm going this way. And it's okay. It's okay to not ever travel the same road again. We're not always meant to be around people all the time forever. Especially if they disrupt our peace constantly. And that's just the way it is. I'm wore out from that rant. I'm so wore out from that rant. I definitely could use a plug. You smell that? For Sleeping Dog Coffee? Well, here it comes. Have you ever just woken up dog tired in the morning from staying up all night, howling at who knows what, because maybe your peace just isn't in check? Well, Have no fear. Have no fear because sleeping dog coffee beans are here. Sleeping dog coffee beans. The beans that'll get you up howling in the morning when you've been up howling at night. That's right. Sleeping dog coffee beans. The best bean brew that's made for you. Ding! I fit a tooth right there. Yeah. That's my badass pirate gap. So, Jessica! I love you. That's going to be it for this episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. Check your peace. Check your peace so you can walk in love with other people. If you're an asshole, then, you need to check yourself because it's a waste of everybody's time, including yours. You deserve better than that. Why are you so angry? Why are you so upset? Why do you spend more time trying to maybe go out of your way to be mad at other people or hurt other people? Because ultimately you're hurting yourself and you're limiting your connections with people. And for the women who have come to me and apologized and said, I'm sorry I was a jerk to you, it was exciting to be able to say, hey, don't worry about it. It was exciting to be able to let them know that people are still going to love them after they make a mistake like that, right? So be that beacon. Be that beacon, but protect yourself. Boundaries are important. You do not have to put up with that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean just be nice to everybody and be a doormat, because for people like me, that's one of my most toxic traits, is that I will be a doormat. So you have to learn that balance of not allowing others to abuse you and standing up for yourself, but also having forgiveness. But remember, forgiveness is more than saying sorry. It's change. You have to change. You don't just get to say sorry and then keep doing it. You don't get to say sorry to this person, but then treat that person like shit. Because I have always been the type that even though you're nice to me, if you are actively abusing somebody else, we're not vibing either. I've had so many friends who I have stuck up for in the scene who have come to me talking about how they're being bullied by people. And I'm like, then none of us are going to be getting down with that person then. Only to have those people turn around and completely dismiss and still harbor the people who abuse me. So, you have to find that balance. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that at all. And here at the Doll Fam, at this table, it's equality or nothing. Everybody is equal. We all share snacks. You know what I mean? We all share stories. We support each other. We're honest. We tell the truth because honesty really is the best policy. And sharing is caring and knowledge is power. So if we share our journeys and we share our experiences and we share the knowledge that we pick up along the way from those experiences with other people who might be new and just starting down that path, then guess what? That means we're going to be able to be more powerful together, 100%. And I want to be powerful with people. I don't want to be powerful above people. You know what I mean? Because I love people and I think everybody deserves to have the same type of inner peace. So then we can just all be walking around, acting in love together to all those people who need to realize that our table, our family, that's where the good snacks are. The snacks of kindness and love and honesty and sharing and lifting up everybody, holding up the people who may not be strong enough yet, finding grace within our own journey so we can help other people learn to have grace and mercy for themselves in their journey. Now that's what we're brewing up. That's what we're brewing up at the Doll Fam Monday Coffee. You am all right? All right, everybody, I've overstayed my welcome. My phone's going to tell me I don't have enough storage any minute now, and it's going to cut me off and say, Emily, stop talking. But this is something I'm really passionate about. So if you're passionate about this type of stuff and you want to spread the love, be sure to give this video a share, because that's a really great way to support and uplift positive content creators like myself. And I really appreciate it. And also, there's a lot of other ways to support my channels and my content. You can find all of that information below. But most importantly, if you are looking for some advice, some unbiased advice, and you're looking for somebody to help guide you down a rough, bumpy patch in your own journey, remember, you can reach out to the show. Send me an email. Tell me what you're struggling with. And in the next episode, I will make an episode directly to you in hopes that I can help smooth that out just a little bit. And if nothing else, let you know that I'm here to hold your hand until you get there on your own, because it's really important that you know that you can get there on your own. But it always helps to have a good support system, and that is what the Doll Fam represents, and that is always what the Monday Coffee with the Doll has been the home of since the first pot was brewed. That's right. I love you. I love your face, and I believe in it. So remember, learn to make peace within yourself so you can walk in love with others. Sharing is caring and knowledge is power. And if you share the positive knowledge you collect along the way with other people, then we can be more positive together. But most importantly, these are the days that fill your week. Remember, make them as positive and amazing as you are, because they have a lot to keep up with, and I'm going to help you find that. So until next time, I love your faces. Bye!
Words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Okay,